Hello friends, I welcome you all on India's largest live e-learning educational platform, that is Freedom. First of all, I apologize for my delay. I hope that you are going to be okay with this and there is no issue with that. And all of you just quickly confirm whether my audio and visual quality is okay so that we can proceed. All of you just quickly tell me whether my audio and visual quality is okay so that we can proceed. Good morning everyone. How are you? Welcome to the session. Everything is okay? Okay, great. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the session. Now, friends, hi, everyone. Good morning. Welcome to the session. You all must be aware that today we are going to start one of the most misunderstood subject or the topic for your general studies paper, that is ethics and values in engineering, or in short, you can call it engineering ethics. One word you can call it engineering ethics, but let me tell you that this subject is much beyond engineering ethics. Thank you, Vivek. Thank you. So let us start with the session. Let me just tell you that this particular subject is much beyond just being engineering ethics. It is much beyond. Why it is much beyond? Let me tell you some simple examples I will give you. Ethics, values, morals, attitude, these are the very basic denominators or the basic factors of your personality. Okay, if you see morals, ethics, values, attitude, these are the basic denominator. Basic denominator means they are very fundamental part of your personality. So whether you talk about in terms of your professional career, whether you talk about in terms of your social interaction, professional, social or personal interaction, this particular subject and the understanding which you are going to get under this discussion, it is going to help you in lot of you can say platforms, lot of ways in your life. So it is more about behavioral skills. It is more about, excuse me. So if you talk about this subject is more about Karan is saying increase some little voice. Okay, let me check. Now is it better? Now I hope it is better. So this subject is more about behavioral skills. Okay, and behavioral skills is not a small thing, not a small thing. Whenever you meet somebody, the first impression is not about your language, not about your face, not about your structure, it's about your behavior. Okay, so if this can change, a lot of things can change in your life. So this subject is something which can give you an overall projection beyond your examination in terms of your life skills or the behavioral skills. So I will be starting with this subject. But before that, we all are technical people, we all are engineers. And when engineers are supposed to read a subject like engineering ethics, which is a social science subject, then there are some important prerequisite requirements. Okay, prerequisite requirements. There are some basics which you must be aware with. Because if I say you know English language, so if you want to learn English language, the first thing you are going to learn is the vocabulary. Yes or no? The first thing you have to learn about any language, whether it is English, Telugu, Tamil, Hindi, Sanskrit, whatever language you want to learn. Whenever you want to learn any subject, any language, the most important thing is the vocabulary. You must know that this word means this word means this. Then you should know. Vivek, listen. All the classes which we are having on Grade Up, you will be provided with the completed class PPTs or the PDFs. Okay, so you don't worry about this PPT and PDF. Don't worry, you will be having all this. Okay, now what I was saying, yes, for every language, every subject, you should know the vocabulary. For example, there are two words in Hindi. Okay, there are two words in Hindi: Amantran and Nimantran. If you don't know their exact meaning, then you will feel that these words are same. Amantran and Nimantran. Okay, both are kind of invitation, but there is a difference. No language is going to have two words with exactly same meaning. Why one would invent a word which is having a completely similar meaning with already existing word? Amantran means, for example, I'm just giving you one example, one crude example. Amantran means to invite somebody for some discussion. Chai pe charcha kind of thing is amantran. But when you say nimantran means apart from discussion, there is some food is also involved. Okay, lunch or dinner is also involved. That is called nimantran. That is why when after getting selected, even if you didn't get selected, then also you are going to be married. Okay, sometimes you are happily married and sometimes you are just married. So there is a difference. That is the difference. If you get selected and get married, then you are happily married. And if you don't get selected and then you are married, then you are simply married. Okay, there is no happiness in that, but still. So when you will get married, your marriage invitation card is going to be having nimantran if it is on Hindi. If it is in Hindi, you will be having nimantran because food is also there. Now, this example I was giving you to understand that every language, every subject has some particular vocabulary, some particular grammar, some particular syntax to be followed. For that purpose, if you want to really learn engineering ethics, then you have to first understand how to approach a social science subject like engineering ethics. Okay. The first thing you have to understand is the positivistic philosophy. This is very important. It can be asked in your 2021 examination. Okay. Every single word which I am discussing with you, you don't take it lightly. Do not take it lightly. Okay. Whenever I put some stars on any particular topic or the word, you take it very seriously. This particular concept can be directly asked next year. What is positivistic philosophy? Positivistic philosophy says that the tools of the physical or the pure science can be used to study the subjects of social science. What is the meaning of this? Let me give you one example. Suppose you have made one rule. What is that rule? That if you find anybody who has met some accident on road and if you are passing by, then you must help him. Okay, there are cameras installed. Okay, the cameras are CCTVs are installed, and if you are passing by and somebody has met some accident and if you are not helping, then you will be punished. Suppose this is the rule. This is some moral ethical rule that is being made. Now I want to know how many people in a particular society are following this rule. Now this is a subject, this is a topic, this is a question which is related to ethics. Whether you are following this particular ethical rule or not. But this is kind of, you can say, subjective question. Subjective question means I don't know what is running in your mind. What I will do, I will make a list that 100 people passing by from an accident, somebody met an accident and 100 people are passing by. In that 100 people, 80 people are following this rule. 80 people are following this rule. It means by using the tools or the methods of the physical or the pure science. What is physical or pure science? We will understand. But you must understand that when you draw a chart, when you make some calculation, these are physical or pure science. For example, mathematics. Mathematics is a pure science. 2 plus 2 will always be 4. 2 plus 2 cannot be 5. So it is a pure science. When you are using the tools or the methods of the pure science to study or analyze or understand the topics or the subjects of social science, then this philosophy or this method we are calling as positivistic philosophy or positivism. How many candidates are able to follow me? Tell me yes or no. All of you just tell me, are you able to follow me or not? Only one candidate is not able to follow, that is Gokulan. See, what is your doubt, Gokulan? What is your doubt, Gokulan? Okay, now see, same way you can understand that the basic philosophy of positivism is to generalize the knowledge gained in an objective manner as much as possible. What is the meaning of generalization? Generalization means the same experiment I am taking. Suppose you are saying 80% of the people, see, I will tell you, wait, Gokulan, wait, I will tell you. What is the meaning of generalization of the knowledge gained? It means, suppose you are saying 80% of the people in a particular society, they are following a particular ethical rule. Yes or no? The moment you say 80% of the people are following the ethical rule, it means you can assume that there is no law or rule required because people are themselves following this. It has become their habit. If somebody has met some accident on road, there is a tendency or habit in the 80% of the people that they are going to help them. Are you able to follow this? So by using the tools or the methods of the physical or pure science, you are trying to generalize the knowledge gained from an experiment which is related to ethics, or in if you are doing this experiment as in engineering, you are saying this is engineering ethics. Are you able to follow this? Now let me come to Gokulan. He is saying he is not getting and he is not understanding this positivism. Positivism simply means using the tools or the methods of physical or pure science. What is physical or pure science? For example, mathematics. Okay, you can say statistics. Okay, you can say physics, etc. Now these are the subjects, these are the sciences which are pure, which are physical. We'll understand what is the difference between physical or pure science and the social science. But when you come to social science subject like ethics, for example, if I tell you, if you are going to start reading engineering ethics right now, and if I tell you that you are having the best lectures on engineering ethics, I am not praising myself, okay, I am just praising the combination of grade up and myself, okay, you can understand my emotions right now. If I say to you that you are getting the best resource on engineering ethics in India, are you happy? Now, most of you are going to say that yes, sir, we are happy. But can I measure your happiness? Is there any thermometer which I can put in your mouth and I can measure how much happy you are? No, I cannot. Because happiness is something subjective. You cannot measure it. You cannot tell me I am more happy, I am less happy, I am average happy. There is nothing like that. So there is no objectivity, there is subjectivity. So how you are going to understand and generalize the principle of ethics? Okay, suppose you said that, okay, helping others is a good thing. दूसरों की मदद करना अच्छी बात है. Helping others is a positive thing. Good sign. Okay, right thing. Now, how you are going to tell the people that if you are going to help others, what is going to happen? Yes or no? It means you want some generalized understanding of this concept of ethics. You have to tell people that you have to help others. Then only this is going to happen. So what you are going to do, you are using the knowledge gained by the tools or the methods of the physical or pure science to understand the concept or analyze or study or research the topics under the ethics or engineering ethics per se. I hope, Gokulan, you are getting the point now. Now, before I proceed, let me just tell you the difference between the physical and pure science and the social science. Physical and pure science and the social science. Is it clear? Till now, is it clear? Okay. Now, suppose this is your physical or pure science, and this is your social science subject, or you can say ethics. Ethics is a social science subject. Social science subject is what? We will try to understand. Now, the first point is the physical or the pure science is objective. And when you talk about social science or ethics, it is subjective. Now I am asking you some questions so that with the help of these questions you can understand what is the meaning of objective, what is the meaning of subjective. If I ask you, how much sugar in your tea? Then what you will say? Sir, 2 spoons sugar. The answer is objective. Why? Because you can count, you can measure. Are you able to follow this or not? If I am asking how much sugar in your tea, you are saying, sir, 2 spoons of sugar I need. Now this 2 can be quantified. It means something which can be quantified. It means something which can be quantified. We are calling it as objective. Which can be quantified. Which can be quantified. Let us come to the subjective part. What is subjective? Subjective means I am asking how sweet is your tea? Now I have put 2 spoons sugar in your tea and I am asking you कि तुम्हारी चाय कितनी मीठी? Now can you measure sweetness? No. Because this is your taste. For me, 2 spoons sugar may be very sweet. Okay, for somebody 2 spoons sugar may be very less. Are you getting this idea? It means when the answer is not sure, when it is not, cannot be measured, when it cannot be quantified, then we are calling it as subjective in nature, which cannot be quantified, I hope you are able to follow this. Number 2, physical or pure science is universal in nature. What is the meaning of universal? What is the meaning of universal? And this is not universal. Okay, are you able to follow this? Are you able to follow this? Tell me yes or no. Clear? Okay. Now what is universal and what is not universal? Universal means, suppose you go to any society in this world, any society, whether it is Indian society, whether it is American society, whether it is British society, whether it is Japan, China, any society you go, okay? If I ask you, what is the value of gravitational constant G? Okay, what is the value of that G? Whether Newton's law is going to be applied or not, whether stress and strain are related, whether voltage and current are related. It means wherever you go in this world, okay, the principle, laws, they are going to be applicable. There may be some degree of difference. For example, if you calculate G, at the poles, then its value is going to be different. If you calculate G at the equator, then it is going to be different. Now, some minor changes may be there. Mic off means, see, my mic is working properly, Baba. See, my voice is coming properly. You check your internet connection. Okay. What I was saying, you're not getting my voice. Okay, log into the session again. Log into the session again. Don't worry. Don't worry. Don't worry. For example, if I ask you the relation between stress and strain. Okay, I'm just giving you one example. There can be n number of examples from the physical or the pure science. They are going to be universal. It means they are applicable everywhere, irrespective of the location or the time. Whether you apply the stress-strain relation today, tomorrow, today morning, today evening, it is going to be same. It means the principle or the laws of physical or pure science, they are beyond space and time. Beyond space and time, they are going to be applicable. When you say social science, these principles are not going to be universal. For example, if you come to Indian society, one of the most important value in the Indian society is familism. Okay, if you go to the American society, in the American society, the most important value or the feature is individualism. If you go to the core of Indian society, you will understand that most of the people, almost 90% of the people in India, they are living a life which is 100% focused on their family. 100% focused on their family. There are some negatives also. Because a lot of people, they do not realize their potential. They keep on taking the burden of their family, and it is actually good also. But if you go to the American society, it is more of individualism. Why? Because there you can say evolution throughout the history, their evolution, their thinking has been different. Our Indian society thinking evolution has been different. Okay, American society actually do not have any history. America is the only country in this world which has no history. Okay, which has no history. And if you see India, India is one of the, you can say, very ancient civilization. So the lot of burden of the back we are having on our shoulders, that is why we are not able to run fast. Are you able to follow me? Atul, I don't know why you are not getting my voice. I think everybody else, are you getting my voice? Other people tell me, are you able to listen to me or not? My audio visual quality is okay? Yes, Atul, see, everybody is getting. You just check your internet connection, log into the session again, you will get. Just wait, let me add some more pages. Okay, wait. Don't worry, don't worry. Okay, now let us see some more differences in the physical or pure science. Now it is okay. Okay, and this is social science, or simply you are saying ethics. Now, when you are reading this subject, I can see the number of candidates live in the class is very less. Okay, let me tell you, this subject is not like your machines, power system in electrical engineering or strength of material or a lot of other subjects. Okay, fluid mechanics. I don't know exactly of these subjects, but these are not your pure or technical science subjects. So whenever you are coming to the class of ethics, you should have patience. You should have patience to listen. You should have patience to learn, because this is not something that 2x plus 3y is equal to this much and 4x plus 6y is this much. Now calculate x and y. No, this is something beyond your imagination, and we have to understand this. Then only you will understand the concept, laws, principles, and will be able to answer questions in the examination. Now, till now, I have given you one question possible, one question possible in the 2021 examination, that is positivistic philosophy. That is positivistic philosophy. You can note it down somewhere in your notes that this is important. Okay. Now, we have said that physical or pure science is going to be objective, whereas social science is going to be subjective. Answer is certain, answer is not certain. It is universal, it is not universal. It is going to be applicable everywhere, it is not going to be applicable everywhere. It is going to be different. Now, the physical or the pure science is empirical in nature, is empirical in nature. What is the meaning of empirical in nature? Suppose you want to know the relation between the current and the voltage. You are saying current is directly proportional to voltage. Current is the effect and voltage is the cause. So you are saying current is directly proportional to the voltage. How you have achieved this relation? Who told you that current is directly proportional to voltage? What is Ohm's law? Now Ohm's law is actually, it is thousands and thousands of experiments being conducted in the laboratory. Empirical means experiments. Thousands of experiments. Thousands of experiments you are doing on different specimen, different sample, different temperature, and you are applying some voltage and you are measuring the current. You see, every time you apply some voltage and you are getting some current, there is a definite relation. That relation we are calling as Ohm's law. So empirical in nature means which can be proved in laboratories with given conditions. Okay. Now, when you come to the social science subject like ethics, you are saying this is not empirical. Why? Because suppose you have conducted an experiment on 1000 people in India, that which particular toothpaste you are using. 80% people are going to say that we are using Colgate. Even if 80% people are saying that they like Colgate as their toothpaste, sorry, not toothbrush. Okay. If you go to 1001 person, After completing this experiment for 1000 people, if you go to the next person and ask him, what is your favorite toothpaste? He may say, what is that? What is that toothpaste? I don't remember its name. Patanjali. Patanjali. Yes, yes, Patanjali. He may be saying he is liking Patanjali. It means the conclusions or the results of these experiments are not going to be applicable every time. And you cannot prove it that this is right, this is wrong. For you, something may be right. For me, something may be right. For others, something may be right. There is one old story which says that there are three types of truths. तीन तरीके की सच्चाई है इस जीवन में. मेरी सच्चाई, तेरी सच्चाई और सच्चाई. There are three types of truths in this world. My truth, your truth, and the real truth. So it is not empirical. You cannot prove the principles or the concepts of social science or ethics in any laboratory or any given condition. 4. Point number 4. It is not normative in nature, whereas if you come to the ethics, it is normative in nature. Now, just now I told you that positivism, this can be asked. This positivism can be asked in the real examination. Very, very important. In the same way, I am saying that you make one sign here so that normative is also very, very important and can be asked next year. Whenever I say this can be asked next year, you always put some mark, some symbol, because ethics is such a large subject. Okay, if you think that I will remember everything, so it is not possible. Okay, right now you may be understanding everything, but after 1 week or so, or 15 days, 20 days, there is a possibility you may forget. So better to go with the important ones. Now let us first understand what is normative. Let us first understand what is normative. And this is going to help you throughout this study of ethics. Normative has a key word. Normative has a key word which is called as norm. Has a key word, and this key word is norm. Norm means ideal. Norm means ideal. Now the key word which I am giving you to identify whether this is related to normative or not is what ought to be. What ought to be. हिंदी में बात करें तो क्या होना चाहिए. Okay. Now listen very carefully. When you say what ought to be, this is what? This is objective or subjective? This is subjective. Suppose I am saying the AC must be cooling. Now this is subjective. This is subjective because for me the cooling is different. For you cooling may be different. I may say that 24 degree is good temperature for cooling. Somebody else may say that 16 degree temperature is good for cooling. It means whenever you say it ought to be, sorry, what ought to be, क्या होना चाहिए, तो क्या होना चाहिए ये सबके लिए अलग अलग है. मेरे हिसाब से जो होना चाहिए वो अलग है, तुम्हारे हिसाब से जो होना चाहिए वो अलग है, किसी तीसरे के हिसाब से जो होना चाहिए वो अलग है. So whenever you find any question statement where you are having this term normative, how you are going to identify what is the correct option? I am giving you a Brahmastra. This is a Brahmastra. Even the scholars who have done PhD in ethics or the social science, okay, there are some statements, if those statements are given to those PhD scholars, they will not be able to identify whether it is related to normative or not. but you guys are going to identify, because you have the Brahmastra. What is Brahmastra? What ought to be? I will give you one case study also. Do you want to listen to this case study? Do you want to listen to this case study? You will understand. Now see what is happening. So there is a group of 10 people. Okay, there is a group of 10 people in DRDA. Okay, it is some, you can say, district level authority, okay, for rural development. Okay, district rural development authority. At district level, there is some authority, DRDA. In this authority, in this organization, suppose there is a team of 10 people, and there is one village whose name is ABC. Okay, let me give you very interesting name. I will give you the name of my village. Some of you may be knowing, some of you may not be knowing. It is a very small village. Suppose it is Gunare. Okay, it is my ancestral village. I am using this name with all due respect to this great place. Now these 10 peoples are making a team and they are going to this village. And what is their purpose? They want to increase the standard of living of the people who are living in this village. Okay. Now there are two ways of doing this thing. Number one, how they can do it? They can simply sit in their office in the district. They can plan a policy. Okay, they can plan some policies, this scheme, that scheme, and they can just simply apply these schemes on the rural people, and they try to uplift the standard of living of the people in the village. This is you can say policy imposition. This is policy imposition. You are making policy even when you are not aware with the real problems, and you are imposing those policies on the people thinking that it is going to uplift their standard of living. What is the second approach? The second approach is PRA RRA. What is PRA RRA? PRA means Provincial Rural Appraisal. Provincial Rural Appraisal, or you can say Rapid Rural Appraisal. Okay, I will make you understand what is this. So this PRA or the RRA is a concept given by the great scholar whose name is Robert Chambers. Robert Chambers. Now this can also be asked. PRA, RRA. He has given the concept of PRA and RRA. PRA and RRA. What he said, whenever you are making some policy for the people, then you should not make policy sitting in your offices. Rather, you should make a team of 10, 15, 20 people and go to the real site, okay, real location, and you have to live with those people in the same condition and understand their real problems. Then only you should make policies for them. So what happened is there is a team of 10 to 15 people from this authority, District Rural Development Authority, DRDA, and they went to some village, that is Gunare. This village is near to Bareilly or the Shahjahanpur. Exact location I don't know. So when they were going through that village and they were thinking that for next 10 days they are going to live in this village and they have to understand the problems of the village people, one day they saw a very old man who was sleeping below a very large tree. Below a very large tree, one old man was sleeping. Okay. Now they went to that old man and said, hello, how are you? What you are doing? So he said, okay, no problem. So they asked, what are your problems? What are the problems you are facing? He said, no problems. I'm living life like king size, no problem. What is the problem? So they said, no, if you can use these kind of seeds, if you can use this kind of pesticide, then your output, crop output is going to be more. Your agricultural output is going to be more. Then that person asked him, then what is going to happen? They said, if you are getting more, you can say output in your agricultural activity, you are getting more profit. A old man asked, then what is going to happen? They said, if you are getting more profit, you will be getting more money. The old man said, then what is going to happen? They again said, if you are getting more profit, more money, you are going to have better standard of living. The old man said, okay, then what is going to happen? They said, if you are having this much money, you will be buying new home and everything is going to be settled in your life, and then you will sleep freely, no problem. The old man said, that is what I was doing right now and you disturbed me. Now, why I was telling you this case history means the people's problem may be different what you are thinking. You may be making roads into the villages thinking that you are going to provide services to the village people, but what is happening because of these roads intruding into the village people, the good things of the village, that is lassi. Now even Amul is selling lassi in Tetra Pak. Are you getting? Just 5-10 rupees lassi, they are selling 30-40 rupees. Not only Amul, so many other, Mother Dairy, all the brands, they are doing like that. So what is happening? The good things of the villages, they are being taken to the urban sites, and the bad things of the urban area, they are going into the village areas. In the village, people are also eating burgers and they are drinking cold drinks, all the bad things, junk food they are eating. So it simply means whenever you are making a government policy, when you are making a public policy, you should never depend on your whims or fancy that this ought to be. This is normative. When you say what ought to be, it is subjective. What you are saying may be the best solution according to your own thinking, but the real solution may be different. So normative is made of a word which is called as norm. Norm means ideal. Now why I am saying it is ideal? Why I am saying ideal? Because whenever you want a particular policy to be made, I am talking in terms of policy, but it is in general. Whenever you are making some policy, you will always make that policy very ideal. Okay? If somebody asks you what kind of India you want to see in near future, you will say, I want to see Ram Raj. Now, I'm not saying this Ram Raj in terms of any religious intention. I'm just saying what is happening in our society. You want an ideal society which is not possible. Wherever human beings are involved, there is going to be no scope for ideal society. Why? Because human beings are not ideal. जिसको तुम सुबह राम समझ रहे थे वो शाम को रावण हो जाता है. जिसको शाम को रावण समझ रहे थे वो सुबह राम हो जाता है. Are you getting this? Every person has different shades in his or her personality. So you cannot say he or she is Ram or Sita. Whosoever is looking like God Rama and Sita, just after 1 hour, if the situation changes, they will act like Ravan and Mandodari. This is the real people. Are you getting this? So normative means something which is highly subjective, and the key word is what ought to be. So whenever you are talking in terms of social science subjects, you can never say this is AC remote. If you say this is AC remote, then it is physical or pure science. When the same thing you are saying in ethics or social science, you will say that This remote, now I'm just giving you one very great example. Listen, this is not just AC remote. This is not just AC remote. It is something beyond. It is something beyond. Okay, if you are using this AC remote in such a way so that it is helping others. Are you getting this? Where I am going? I am telling you what ought to be. इस remote को क्या करना चाहिए जिससे कि सबका अच्छा हो. The moment you speak in this language, what ought to be, it becomes subjective, it becomes a part of social science, it becomes a part of ethics. The moment I say, there is no deliberation. When you say what is, you are saying this is AC remote, it becomes physical or pure science because you know that this is AC remote. Social science, you are saying, no, this is not just AC remote, this is beyond. If you use this AC remote in such a way, what ought to be? So you are going into the zone of social science or ethics. Are you comfortable with this normative or not? Tell me yes or no. Clear? Is it clear? One more candidate gone. Great. The fifth point is, it is based on reason, logic, rationality. What is reason? This reason is not Karan. In Hindi it is Karan. No. This reason means reasoning power. Okay. When you say this is AC remote, I will not accept this is AC remote. I will ask you why this is AC remote. Okay. ये AC remote क्यों है? मैं जानना चाहता हूं. When I want to know why you are calling this object as AC remote, it means I am giving you some reasoning. Some reasoning you have to give me. Why you want to say this is AC remote? So this is reason. When you can put questions in terms of the nature, in terms of the origin, in terms of the meaning, in terms of their application, in terms of their scope, then you are talking in terms of reason. What is logic? Logic says 2 plus 2 is equal to 4. For you also 2 plus 2 is equal to 4. For me also 2 plus 2 is equal to 4. For anybody else in this world 2 plus 2 is equal to 4. So logic means something which you are using to rationalize or to give reasoning for a particular knowledge or information. What is rationality? Rationality means when you are rational, it means you are logically giving the reasoning for something or somebody. Rationality is a state of mind where there are two dimensions: logic, reason. Logic, reason. Suppose you say to me that, sir, whenever we get up early in the morning, we have to touch our elders' feet. Now my logic will say, why I should touch the feet of elders? Why not elders should touch my feet? I am applying logic. I am doing reasoning. So I am getting rational. Are you getting this point or not? It is not that I am disrespecting my elders. Just by touching their feet, it is not that I am showing my respect to them. Okay, I can love them more than that people who is simply touching the feet. Suppose you are getting up early in the morning, you are touching your parents' feet, but in your heart you don't have any respect or love for your elders or the parents. That is a better condition, or it is a better condition that you don't touch their feet, but you still have lot of love, compassion, emotion, okay, care for your elders. It means whenever I am thinking in this dimension, I am talking in terms of logic, reason, rationality. Logic, reason, rationality. Are you able to follow this? When you talk about social sciences subject, then you are talking about emotions. then you are talking about emotions. You are talking about past. Okay, you are talking about myth. You are talking about irrationality. Okay. Now there was a great incident in one of the place. I don't remember its name. Like, okay, and that was being captured. Okay, Vivek, I will come to rationality again. Listen. I will come to rationality. First, you listen this example. You will understand what is rationality. There was a place. Okay, there was a place, and there was very great flood situation. There was great flood situation. So what happened? There was a mother monkey. There was a mother monkey, and it has two baby monkeys. Okay, on his shoulders. There was a you can say mother monkey, and it was having two baby monkeys, small monkeys on her shoulders. And there was a flood situation. So it was about to just drown. It was about to drown. All of them were about to drown. When the water level was this much up to her chest, so what she did, she took both of her children, baby monkeys, on her shoulders. When the water level rises to here, they put them on her head like that and were holding like that. The moment water came this much, that mother monkey actually took those baby monkeys and put them below her feet and actually tried to get life. Actually tried to get life. Are you getting this idea or not? The same mother who was struggling to save her children, when it came to really her life or death situation, he decided to sacrifice her own children. I'm not saying that mothers are like that, or mothers should be like that, or should not be like that. I'm not making any objective comment on this, but I'm just taking this as an example. This was in news. This was in some video is also available. I don't remember exactly what is the title. So I'm just giving you one simple understanding that wherever human beings are involved, their nature is highly subjective. Their nature is highly subjective. The same children who start crying without their parents when they are a small kid, the moment they become, you can say, grown up, they are independent, they are having a good job, they are having a good life, good family. For them, their parents become a burden. And there may be different cases. In human society, there is no simple rule or logic which you can follow. If you go 10 houses in your locality, you will see those 10 houses are going to have 10 different philosophies of life. If you are a Hindu, you may be worshipping Lord Shiva. If you are a Hindu, next to your home, you may be worshipping Lord Rama. Next to your home may be a Muslim, he may be worshipping Khuda. Next to that, there may be a Christian. So different, wherever human beings are involved, जहां जहां इंसान है, वहां वहां subjectivity है. Are you getting this idea? It means what I wanted to say, whenever you talk about social science subjects like this, when you talk about social science subjects like this, they are overburdened by the emotions, past, myth, irrationality. I will give you one more example. Now you see, there is a difference between the past and history. What is past? Past is something which is illogical. Past is something which is illogical. Okay. For example, if you are saying that we are Hindus, okay, we are Hindus and we are the part of this culture and this and that, this and that. So this is past. Okay, this is actually not the real history. What is the real history? The real history is the native Indians are actually the South Indian people. The native Indians are the South Indian peoples. And most of the North Indian people, I'm just telling you history, okay? I'm not making any debate between North India and South India. Please be very objective when you come to my class. There is no scope for small thinking or small level understanding of thoughts in my class. If you see the whole of North India, it was being invaded by the Aryans. Okay? So the native Indians are actually South Indian people. The Aryans could not reach out to that location because it was very far. And there was no connection because it was all covered with the Indian Ocean in all the directions. So it was kind of, you can say, it was protected. The southern India was protected from the external invasion. But the northern part of the Indian subcontinent, what happened? Lot of people used to come even before Aryans and after Aryans. And there is a khichdi, there is a mixture in the northern India. So what I wanted to say, what is the difference between the past and the history? The past is, the past you are saying as that we Hindu are the native or the, you can say, original inhabitant of this nation, but it is not true. We are outsiders. We are outsiders. Now let us come to rationality. Rationality you can understand. Rationality you can understand. Rationality is made of a word which is called rational. What is the meaning of rational? Rational means whatever you do, whatever you think, it is all about logic. Okay, there should be a logic. You should not say that I like black color. What is the logic? If you are saying you are liking black color, it means you are driven by emotions. Just because you feel something, you are feeling too much about the black color, so you are saying I like black color. Now when you say I like black color, because it is one of the best, you can say best color which absorb all the light, kind of logic, statements, reasons you can give, which should be rational, which should be logical, which should be based on reason. When you say reason, it means a brain activity. Reason means a brain activity. And when this brain activity and reason, when they are added together, they become rationality. Are you able to follow this? Tell me yes or no. Are you able to follow this? Any doubts you can ask me. Clear? Okay. So whatever we require before we start this subject, how to approach this subject that we have completed. Okay, you should understand what is physical or pure science. For example, I'm just giving you one example of this, that if you talk about, yes, if you talk about physics, maths, and there are so many subjects you can say in the physical or the pure science. What is social science? For example, you are saying sociology, okay, philosophy, and so many other subjects, ethics. These comes under social science subjects. Now with this background, let us now go to this philosophy, types of philosophy, and how ethics is related to philosophy. This is very, very important to understand. I think in 2019, there was a direct question on epistemology. Okay, that was a direct question on epistemology, and you will be surprised to know that the students who appeared in the 2019 examination who read it from my notes or my classes, they were able to answer this. Okay, epistemology. So this is how you understand the way a particular subject is construed. It is projected in a particular examination. If you have that guts, that feeling, that understanding, that level of thinking, then you can guess a lot of things in your examination very easily. So now let us first talk about philosophy. What is philosophy? Let us first talk about philosophy. When you say philosophy, you have to understand philosophy is made of two words, philo and soph. Philo means love, and soph means knowledge. Okay. In simple words, you can say the love for knowledge is philosophy. The love for knowledge is philosophy. What does it mean? I'm just hiding my image. I'm just hiding my image so that I can write something on the same slide so that you can understand all these things. Okay, are you able to follow this? Clear? Okay. Are you able to follow me? Are you able to follow me? Yes. Okay. Now see, when you talk about philosophy, you have to understand that philosophy is, you can say, philosophy is seeking knowledge. What is the meaning of seeking knowledge? Suppose there are some people, some candidate in this class who are coming to my class simply to learn ethics. They also want to get selected. Uh, Pushya Surista is asking which one is value laden and which one is value free. I will come to that. Pushya, I will come to that. Wait. Okay, don't go ahead of me. Try to follow me, at least in this subject, then it is going to be good for you. Okay, listen. What I was saying is, suppose there are some candidates in my class who are just coming to my class simply to learn ethics. They are seeking knowledge. Getting selected is okay for them, but that is secondary. Their first priority is to learn something. It means you are driven by a philosophy. Are you able to follow this? Have you listened to the story of Swami Vivekananda? Have you listened to the story of Swami Vivekananda when he was a small kid Every time he is asking different people, where is God, where is God, how the God looks like. So he was seeking knowledge, he was seeking God. So he was driven by a philosophy. When you are driven by a philosophy, when you are driven by philosophy, then if you are driven by a philosophy, driven by a philosophy, then your commitment is very high. Your commitment is very high. Now, there are some people, sorry, not some people, there are majority of people who are unsuccessful in life. Have you ever thought why they are unsuccessful in life? Because they have a very high commitment towards unsuccessful. They don't want to get successful. That is why they are unsuccessful. Because they are driven by a philosophy, because they are driven by a philosophy which says no philosophy. For example, most of the candidates who are pursuing BTech, if you ask them first year, what do you want to become? Some of them will say, I want to go NASA. Some of them will say, I want to go ISRO. Some of them will say, I want to go NTPC. Some will say ONGC, IOCL. I want to start my own company. This, that, blah, blah, so many things. The moment they came to their final year, if you ask them, what do you want to do in your life? They will say, I just want a job. I just want a job. Their philosophy died. They are having no philosophy. When you are having no philosophy, it means you are having a huge commitment towards failure. And that is why you are getting failed time and again, you are being failed. You are not getting success. Having no philosophy is also philosophy. Are you able to follow this? Tell me yes or no. Are you able to see this logic of philosophy or not? Philosophy means seeking knowledge. Philo means love. Soph means knowledge. The love for knowledge means philosophy. So when you want to know something, when you want to learn something, when you want to know the origin, meaning, nature and scope of anything, then you are concerned with the philosophy. So beyond this topic, beyond this subject ethics, I want to tell all my students, if you really want to get successful in your life, you must have a philosophy. If you don't have a philosophy, even if you get selected in engineering services with rank 1, I have seen people very close to me who got selected not in engineering services, they got selected in administrative services, and right now they are one of the most frustrated people on this earth. They are one of the most frustrated people on this earth. Why? Because they don't have a philosophy. Simply getting selected is not a philosophy. Your life must have a philosophy. You are a great potential. Okay. So now let us leave this philosophy part one side and try to understand ethics. How ethics came out of this philosophy. Now philosophy can be divided into number of branches. Okay. Like in our Hindu mythology, see, nobody can tell you what type of philosophy you want in your life. This is only you who have to decide what is your philosophy of life. Okay. As per the Hindu mythology, there are 6 schools of thought. You remember Shad Darshan? Darshan means philosophy. Darshan means philosophy. In Hindi, Philosophy means darshan. This darshan is not that darshan. This darshan means thought. Now we are defining this philosophy under these categories: epistemology, metaphysics, autology. It is not autology, it is ontology. Okay, it is ontology. This is theodicy and this is axiology. Ethics came out of this branch of philosophy, that is axiology. We'll understand it one by one. Okay, let me first come to epistemology. Okay, are you getting my image properly? Image, audio, visual, everything is okay? Clear? Okay. Now let us talk about epistemology. What is epistemology? We have to understand. See, epistemology basically, in simple term, I'm just giving you one single statement or the word to understand. Epistemology means the scope of knowledge, or you can say methods or tools to gain knowledge. In simple terms, you have to define epistemology as the scope of knowledge. For example, if you want to learn ethics, why you want to learn ethics? Scope means application, where you are going to apply this knowledge of ethics. Also methods and tools, how you are going to learn or understand the knowledge of ethics. Okay, how you can achieve them, that knowledge, how you can achieve this knowledge. So all these methods, tools and scope of knowledge, they comes under the purview of umbrella of epistemology. For example, this epistemology in Hindi, it is called as Gyan Mimansa. Okay. Now, for example, I am just giving you one example. Suppose I am saying this is a pen. Try to understand it. I will be giving you very simple examples. But if you see, these are branches of philosophy on which people are doing PhDs. But we are not doing PhDs. We want to learn it from more practical point of view. If I say this is a pen, okay. Now, what are the questions which can be asked under the purview of epistemology? Number one, first thing you are going to ask me, sir, how this pen came into existence? Are you able to follow this? For example, I am showing you my pen. So, what are the different questions you can ask me? If I am showing you my pen, electronic pen, you are asking first question, how it came into existence. Okay. Number two, second question, you are asking meaning. First you talked about origin or the source, how it came into existence. Then you are asking meaning. Meaning means, what is this pen? Okay, what is this pen? What is the meaning of what is this pen? This is meaning. This is related to origin. This is related to meaning. Then comes the nature. What is the nature of pen? Nature of pen means whether it is good, whether it is bad, whether it is right, whether it is wrong, or whatever it is. So you want to know what is the nature, tendency of this pen. Question number 4. Scope of knowledge. Then you will ask me, what is the application of this pen? Are you able to follow this? Now I have just given you one example for this electronic pen, but you can understand whatever you see, observe in your life. If you can ask these 4 questions, you will never taste failure in your life. How many candidates have read the autobiography of APJ Abdul Kalam Azad, Wings of Fire? Have you read that book? Have you read that book? Now there is a mention. Now there is a mention of the mother of APJ Abdul Kalam Azad, and every time, every time when Kalam Saab used to come back to his home after the school, his mother his mother used to ask him what is the best question he has asked today to his teacher. And that is how this kind of upbringing made him Abdul Kalam Azad. It is not how much you know your subject. It is not how much you can show off in front of your in front of your friends or classmates. The most important thing is, are you having learning? Are you following learning? Are you asking good questions? Are you asking, and it is not just asking good questions to your teacher, asking good questions to everyone. If you can ask in terms of the origin, meaning, nature, and scope, it means you are seeking knowledge from the eyes of epistemology. From the eyes of epistemology. Are you able to follow this? I think now you will never forget what is epistemology. Are you able to follow this? Origin, meaning, nature, and scope of knowledge. What is the knowledge? I have given you one knowledge. This is pen. I am giving you information, knowledge. This is pen. This is AC remote. Now you will ask me, sir, what is the origin? What is the meaning? What is the nature? What is the scope of this knowledge? It means you are driven by Jnana Mimamsa. You want to know things. Are you able to follow this? The next branch of philosophy is metaphysics. Let me add some more pages. We are going to read ethics in such a way that you don't even require revision. Directly you will go to the examination hall and you will solve the questions. This is the way we are going to discuss this particular subject. Okay. So now we are going to see what is metaphysics. Second one is metaphysics. What is metaphysics? Now you see, when you talk about metaphysics, the term meta means beyond. The term meta means beyond. And physics means physical boundary. Physics means physical boundaries. So when you are talking in terms of beyond physical boundaries, then you are talking in terms of metaphysics. It is beyond physical existence. Beyond physical existence. What is the meaning of this? The meaning of this is, suppose you say this is me. I am saying this is Ashutosh. For example, my name is Ashutosh, so I am saying this is Ashutosh. But when you talk about metaethics, you will say, okay, this is Ashutosh, but who is Ashutosh? Are you able to follow this or not? You are saying, for example, you are saying this is I. You are saying this is I. Then the question is, who is I? It means this structure, this body, this is I. But what actually is I? That is metaphysics. It is actually metaphysics. For example, there is a great dialogue. There is a great dialogue in one of, I think, the great actor Amitabh Bachchan's movie, and that is in Hindi. So if you are comfortable with Hindi, then you can enjoy. Otherwise, you can just understand the English interpretation. That is, जो दिखता है वो नहीं होता है, और जो नहीं दिखता है वो होता है. जो दिखता है वो नहीं होता है, और जो नहीं दिखता है वो होता है, और जो दिखता है हमें लगता है वो नहीं होता है, और जो हमें नहीं दिखता है और हमें लगता है नहीं है वो होता है. बात समझ में आ रही है? नहीं समझ में आई? Beyond physical boundary. For example, I am having candidates Harshit, Atul, Vivek, Karan. Suppose I am asking Vivek. Okay, you are Vivek. It's okay. But who is Vivek? You are saying this is Vivek. This body is not Vivek. There is something, some consciousness in this body which is Vivek. So that consciousness I want to know. So this is how we are defining the metaphysics. Are you able to follow this? Are you able to follow this? I will give you one more understanding of this concept. And that is given by a great philosopher whose name is, the pronunciation is René Descartes. But the spelling is Descartes. René Descartes, but the pronunciation is René Descartes. T and E are silent. He said, I think, therefore I am. I think, therefore I am. And this is the same debate, Anda and Murgi. Who came first? Anda or Murgi? René Descartes says, I think. I think means consciousness. Are you able to follow this? He is saying, I think, therefore I am. means physical existence. So he was saying, simply because I can think, I have consciousness, I have physical existence. There is a great philosophy given by Rene Descartes. But the critics of Rene Descartes, critics of Rene Descartes, they said it's okay if you are saying, I think, therefore I am. Rene Descartes said, I think, therefore I am. And the critics of Rene Descartes said, it's okay if you are saying, I think, therefore I am. But what is this I who is thinking? What is this I who is thinking? This I is nothing but the physical existence. This I is nothing but the physical existence. It means what? Consciousness and physical existence, these are the two sides of the same coin. You cannot remove consciousness from the physical existence. Wherever there is physical existence, there is consciousness. If you see this pen, this is not having any consciousness. Are you able to follow this? But this is not having any physical existence also. You don't say, no sir, this is the physical, this is the dimension, this that. No. Physical existence, we do not mean non-living things. Physical existence means living things I am talking in terms of. Are you able to follow this? So what is metaphysics? What type of questions you are going to ask? You are going to ask questions which are based on who is I, that is beyond the physical boundary, beyond the physical boundary. Now this concept which I have just now given you, the Rene Descartes consciousness and physical existence, this is very important and can be asked next year in your examination. It's also very, very important. Are you able to follow this? Tell me yes or no. Shivangi Yadav is saying, what is metaphysics? See, it is not that metaphysics is not for non-living things. I will give you just one more example. See, before I tell you this example, I want all of you to promise me that you will not take the example I am giving you. You will not take this example in religious terms. Okay? You have to promise me. Now, in Hindu mythology, there was Shankaracharya who gave the concept of Advaitvad. He gave the concept of Advaitvad, beyond physical boundary. What is the meaning of this? Why he gave the concept of Advaitvad? That is very controversial, and that is what I am saying, that you will not take this in terms of religious terms. You will take it for the objective understanding of the concept. He said that this pen is God. Are you getting this? I am saying this is a pen. But Shankaracharya is saying this is Advaitvad. Now people are very confused. How this simple small pen which anybody can break which anybody can burn, which anybody can throw. How this can be God? Now Shankaracharya said that you have to look beyond the physical existence. You have to look beyond the physical existence. So what you think is not actually that thing, that is something different. You remember that dialogue, Amitabh Bachchan movie? What you see is not true, and what you don't see is the truth. And what you see and you think is the truth, and what you don't see, sorry, what you see and you think it is truth, that is not actually truth. And what you don't see and you don't think it is truth, that is truth. This is metaphysics. This is Advaitwad. This is Shankaracharya's Advaitwad. Are you able to follow this? Yes? When I am saying living things in terms of physical existence and consciousness, then I am talking about the concept given by Rene Descartes. Because when you say I think therefore I am, now you can use this statement only and only when you are a living object. A non-living object is never going to say that I think therefore I am. Only living beings can say I think therefore I am. But metaphysics is equally applicable for living and non-living things. I am just giving you one example as per the Rene Descartes philosophy of I think therefore I am. Are you able to follow this, Shivangi? Tell me yes or no. Are you able to follow this? Now let us come to ontology. What is ontology? Ontology means Satta Mimamsa. Okay. Now ontology means if something is this much, then why it is not all? Okay. And if something is this, then why it is not that? If something is this, why it is not that? What is the meaning of this very confusing statement? Listen carefully what he's saying. Ontology or Satta Mimamsa. Satta means comparative existence. Yes or no? What is the meaning of Satta? Satta means comparative existence. For example, if you are saying, sir, this is pen. Okay. So the type of questions I am going to ask is like this. Number one, I am going to ask you, if this is pen, then why it is not fan? If that is fan, then why it is not pen? Are you able to follow this? And the second question I am asking, this is the first question I have asked. If something is this, why it is not that? If this is pen, then why it is not fan? And the second question I am asking you, if something is this much, only this much pen, then why it is not all? Why not the complete room you are saying it is a pen? Are you able to follow how you are going to know whether the given question is related to ontology or not? You have to ask these questions. These statements I am giving you like keys to solve questions in the examination. I can see very less people are attending these classes, but let me tell you, they are missing at least 10 to 15 questions in their career. Engineering services prelims examination, they are missing. Are you able to follow this? Yes. What is ontology? If something is this, then why it is not that? If something is pen, why it is not fan? And if this is pen, then why it is only this much? Why it is not all? Oh my God. Nobody is lucky. Everybody should be rational. Now listen. Let us come to this theodicy. What is theodicy? Theo means, theodicy. Theo means theodicy has a root word in this. Theo means God. Okay, theo means God. So when you talk about theodicy, so you are asking very fundamental question about the God. I am not saying whether I accept these questions or not. Take them objectively and do not become emotional. Do not become emotional. The questions which we are going to ask under theodicy is whether there is a God. First thing you want to know is whether God is there or not. And the second thing is what is the nature of God, good or bad. Now you see, in general, the people who are doing the most worst, sorry, not most worst, who are doing the worst thing in terms of ethics, in terms of values, in terms of moral, in terms of attitude, they are the most successful people in this world. Most of the political leaders you can understand, I'm not saying any particular name, but most of the current political leaders, they lack ethics, values, morals, attitude, but still they are living a very lavish lifestyle. And who is actually facing the real harsh life? There is the poorest of the poor people, poorest of the poor people who do not have resources. So you want to ask where there is God or not, and if God is there, what is the nature of God? God is good or God is bad? To whom God is helping? Good people or bad people? So it comes under theodicy. The last one is axiology. Axiology means the theory of values. Axiology means theory of values. Okay, theory of values. Theory of values means origin, source, meaning, nature, and scope of values. Scope of values. Now see, you are asking me a question. I do not want to get into these religious lines, but I want to tell you, according to me, what is God. It is not like I am talking in terms of Hindu mythology, I am talking in terms of Muslim mythology, I am talking in terms of Sikh, I am talking in terms of Isai. Vishal Kunyal, you don't know a single word about ethics. You don't know a single word about ethics, and you are passing judgments that ethics is going to restrict you to grow. Okay? First, you understand what is ethics before passing any judgment. See, you should be like a sponge. You know what is a sponge? If you throw water, that sponge is going to absorb all the water. You should not be like a stone, rock. How much water, how much knowledge, how much information I am giving you, because you are so stubborn, you are so, you can say, rigid, you are not able to absorb that. First, you become Ready to learn, to listen. Let me first answer Vivek. If you ask me beyond any particular religion, what is God? Just because we are discussing this, so I am giving you this understanding. Geetika Gogoi is saying, sir, can you give the practical example of ontology? Definitely, I will come to you. First, let me talk to Vivek. So, Vivek, according to me, God is something or someone. For example, if you are going to the temple, if you are going to the mosque, if you are going to the Gurudwara, if you are going to the church, the moment you come in that zone, in that effect, then you do not beg for anything in your life. You do not say, please God, let me be selected next year in engineering services with rank 1. You're not saying this. If you're saying this, it means that is not true God. What is true God? The moment you enter in that premise, there is an energy, there is a vibration which connects with you in such an emotional level that tears start rolling from your eyes. This is true God and this is true disciple. So that is the kind of God I believe in, and I hope you are going to be following this some way in your life also beyond religious lines. Anyways, now let me come to Geetika Gogoi. She's saying, sir, can you give us the practical example of ontology? Yes. What is ontology? Ontology, we are saying that something is this, then why it is not that? If something is this much, why it is not all? What is the purpose of having ontology? What is the purpose of having ontology? Ontology is a branch of philosophy. What is philosophy? Philosophy means seeking knowledge. What do you want to seek knowledge? Meaning, nature, scope. Yes or no? Origin, meaning, nature, scope. So ontology talks about, you can say, origin, meaning, nature, and scope. Are you able to follow this? If I am saying, suppose this is a pen, I am giving you practical example. Okay, you see what is happening from last 8 to 10 years. We are reading technical. So our mind, our bent of mind is something we think that practical is something very different. No, what you can see, what you can observe, what you can perceive, that is practical. What can be the most practical example which I am giving you? If this is a pen, ontology is asking, if this is pen, then why it is not fan? Why it is not AC? Why it is not Ashutosh? Why it is not Vivek? Why it is not Geetika? Are you getting this or not? You are saying this is this. Ontology is asking why it is this, why it is not that. And this is if this is like this, why it is not all? Are you able to follow this or not? See, these things are not that simple. You have to understand the way in which we are discussing these things, then only you can understand. Now let me talk to axiology. What is it, axiology? Axiology, we are saying theory of values. What is value? First you have to understand what is value. Value means importance attached. It's okay, Vivek, don't get emotional. To something, someone, etc. This value is not value in rupees. This value is the importance. Okay, for example, I give you one example of value. For example, you have two possibilities: singing and dancing. Now, some of you may be going for more importance attached to singing, some of you having more importance attached to dancing. It means you are having certain preferences in your life, Now, those preferences or the importance attached, we are defining in terms of value. Now, this value is going to be highly subjective in nature. This is highly subjective in nature. If you see the human society, in the same family, you can find doctors, you can find lawyers, you can find engineers, you can find actors, you can find businessmen. It means the same family, same atmosphere, same upbringing, but their values may be different. Their values may be different. It is highly subjective. It depends on your existence, your aim, your orientation in life. Okay, it is not totally by birth and it is not totally by experience. It is a mixture of birth and experience. When we will read about the Plato and Aristotle, then we will understand this difference between the by birth qualities and the qualities which you gain from out of your experience. So axiology, which we are calling as Mulya Mimamsa, is basically divided into two parts, aesthetics and ethics. Aesthetics means values which are out of the realm of the right or wrong. For example, if you see a painting, now that painting is not going to be good, bad, right or wrong. That painting may be beautiful, may be ugly, okay? It may be very grand, it may be very glamorous, different emotions you are getting after watching that painting, but this is no way related to the field of ethics. The field of ethics always talks in terms of right and wrong. Right something you have to do, wrong something which you don't do. That is how we are defining values or the ethics. For example, helping others. दूसरों की मदद करना. Helping others is right or wrong. Now these type of questions are going to come under the purview of ethics. And when the issues are related to the subject matter which is beyond the scope of right and wrong, then that is going to come under aesthetics. Is it clear to everyone? So friends, let us stop here, and tomorrow we are going to have the second part of this moral ethics, values and attitudes, and tomorrow class is going to be very important. Don't miss this class, because today was the introductory part. Tomorrow we are actually going to discuss what is morals, what is ethics, what is values and what is attitude, their interrelation, everything, interdependence. So many things we are going to cover tomorrow. So be ready tomorrow and do not forget to join me. I can see the number of students are very less in the class, but I think if you are not coming to the live class, you are missing a lot of things. Okay. So friends, thank you so much. Take care of yourself. If you have any doubt, you can reach out to me through the. Thank you, Atul. Thank you, Vivek. So if you have any doubt, you can reach out to me through the grade of doubt section. I will try my level best to answer your queries. And please come to the live session. That is very, very important. Okay, Vivek, I will try my level best. Okay. Okay, Vivek. I will try my level best to give you as much simple, as much practical examples as I can. Okay. So thank you so much. Take care of yourself. Prep smart, score better, go grade up. Thank you so much. Thank you. See you all tomorrow. Thank you.